10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, it's Skeptic Spin. We're back, as it should be, with Spin Dr. Mike and myself, Justin. Mike, it's been a couple weeks. We haven't seen you since last week, but you had a good excuse. What was that?
Last week, my wife and I went to Las Vegas to celebrate our 13th wedding anniversary. My wife.
Hey, Spin Dr. Karen. How are you?
So we were in Vegas last week and celebrating our anniversary. So it was quite a time. We even have a couple of stories that get to stay in Vegas. So
yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Otherwise, if you don't have those stories after a trip to Vegas, then you did it wrong. You screwed something up.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you got to go back and try again. Earlier today, you were on the Kentucky Atheist channel.
Yes, Joe had me over
go?
there. It was a lot of fun. We did our show over there. He had the tablet, and we did the 3 takes, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about creationism. Holy cow, those people are scary.
Yeah, so I was watching you, and all I kept thinking about was like, I think I just lost a co-host. He may have just been like, maybe this is too much, but I don't know. What are you thinking now?
I can't believe how naive I am. Like I can't believe that people I think that you have a certain amount of intelligence think like that.
Yeah,
It is incredible. Like
yeah.
and I'm dumbfounded. Like I can't believe I've ever been dumbfounded. But
Yeah,
and the fact also that there is like a nest of them in central Kentucky, like they all just live humbly their lives, all believing this nonsense.
Yeah, it's I believe it, Joe said it, where it's like, it's cool if you guys want to believe that and all of that, like fine, but it's when you start trying to like sell at-home lessons in schools and you're creating museums to dish out the misinformation, and it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
And I mean, these people are on the extreme side of things, right? So keep that in mind. Don't let that taint your attitude towards everyone of faith or who has a belief.
Oh
You know what I
gosh,
mean?
no.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that there's like these people, like these are well-educated men, and they believe this bullshit. Like it's
Yeah.
oh
Yeah. Speaking of well-educated men who don't believe this bullshit, today we got some really great guests. We've got Jeff Brooks and Jason Freer, the brains behind a great atheist convention known as B.A.H.A.con. If I had a little applause button to press, I'd press it now. But anyways, Jason, Jeff, how are you guys doing today?
Doing excellent.
Yeah, doing great.
So B.A.H.A.con, when did you guys come up with this idea to do B.A.H.A.con?
Sure. Well, it sort of predates me.
And it predates me.
Yeah,
Okay.
So the first B.A.H.A.con was 2022, and I was there just as a ticket holder. I went. Suzanne and I, my girlfriend, we went on for the Saturday to listen to some speakers. Really just found out about it because I was on Seth Andrews' website and it had a list of, where he was going to be, and he was going to be literally 20 minutes from my house. So that was why I went the first time. And then I was approached by the main organizer of it, who was looking for people to help the following year with kind of organizing it and putting it together. So that's how I got pulled in. So 2023 was the first year I was involved in actually helping run the conference. And then we managed to suck Jason in for 2024.
And Jason, did you feel sucked in?
Not at all. I was so happy to help.
Awesome. Okay, so B.A.H.A.con isn't very old then, right? So you said 2022 was the first one. So we were just coming out of a pandemic.
Yeah.
And how was and you were ticket holders. So how was the first BajaCon?
It was good. The speakers were good. There was maybe not the best when it came to the MC and the sort of the announcer for things. Maybe wasn't the best, but they got that fixed in 2023 going forward. So,
if you didn't know, that's Jeff, the MC going 2023 going forward. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird or awkward because I met you guys there and I had a great time. I am definitely going to be there for the next one. I'm going to be bringing Spin Dr. Mike with me, but it's hard for me to just sit here and gush and nostalgic over BajaCon 2024 all by myself. So I got some extra help today. So anyone who doesn't know this person, then you should know her after today. We've got Dee, Stacy's mom from the Stacy's Mom podcast, where
Hello.
BajaCon 2024 is not just a great conference I attended. It's also where Dee and I met.
Yes, it was amazing. And it's where I met Jason and Jeff for the first time.
Yeah.
Meeting Jason in person was amazing. He's always in our chat on our podcast. So that was just like meeting an old friend for the first time. Yeah, hi Melanie. Yeah.
Yes. So Dee.
Yes.
Do you remember Jeff's emceeing skills?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I got the joke, by the way. I was laughing backstage. It was very good. Do I dare ask who the first MC was, or is this not something we want to dish, spill the tea?
I think it's a person who will not be named, but
okay.
Partially because
Jason? Why do you look like you're hanging on for dear life or something?
I'm not even sure what his name was, to be honest. It's not that I'm not being secretive. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
he hasn't been involved with the group since for quite a while.
Okay. He just moved along. We were great. You were great. The whole thing was great, and so it was my very first atheist convention. But I will say that I talked to quite a few seasoned convention goers. And they have been to conventions all over. And they said, without a doubt, BajaCon is the best, their favorite. And if I was to have chosen any to be my first, I chose the right one, hands down. So that made me feel really good. And I'm going to be going to the next one as well. And so is my daughter. So we will get to meet you, Spin Dr. Mike. Yay! Look at
so, I'm gonna tell everyone I was Dee's first.
Mike and I have done many conventions in our day as the entertainers. Usually, like providing technical services through the day, and when the evening rolls around, we do some kind of like party dance in the night. And I have to say, guys, of all of the conventions, and I'm talking, I mean, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but it'd probably be fair to say 100+ conventions we've done in our days.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah. I have never seen one run so tight. I think at the most you guys may have been 10 minutes behind at one point on Saturday, maybe, if that.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of reasons for that, or a couple of reasons for that, I think. One is we try to bring in some very seasoned speakers who are very good at keeping track of time as well, which is helpful.
So good.
Yeah, and I do have a large hook, if need be, but I didn't have to take it out this year, so.
I don't know why my camera is being so choppy today, so I apologize to everybody. But hopefully, I'm sounding
That's
good,
all right.
and
great.
I hope the tableau isn't going to give me a problem when I start sharing that. But yeah, Jeff had some fantastic dad jokes on stage with his emceeing skills.
So good.
And
I love the facts about Canada too. They were great.
Yeah. So Jason, what kind of what part do you play over there at the BajaCon?
Oh, I'm smiling. I haven't done a lot previous to this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of like the runner. I was the runner at the show this year, but I was just brought onto the board, so I'm going to be a bigger part now.
Good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Jason was that guy, you know, when you're doing something and there's one guy that it's like, we need to get this done. I'll ask that guy to get it done.
Yeah,
that was Jason.
The title
Jason,
is firefighter.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that person does. Yeah.
Well,
And
as
the
a
congeniality.
MacGyver fighter.
Yeah.
There you go.
as a paramedic, I would say it's probably paramedic, but only because we have a bit of a rivalry with our fireman friends. But Jason was fantastic. Like anything, you just, hey Jason, can you look after this? And he looked after it. So
Yeah, even had someone as far as Nunavut there this year. That was impressive, right?
yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
did.
all.
Yeah.
I met that guy too.
I did
had,
too. I think we all
I had
did.
dinner with him on the first night. In fact, it was just me and him at the table the first night.
Oh.
Yeah, we were.
I met him on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him a ride to the boat. Very, very interesting fellow. We had a couple from Italy. That was our farthest visitors that came over from Italy for it. And I don't have the exact. Bob would know the exact number. Bob's our sort of president, but I think we had over 20 states represented.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so yeah.
So Jeff, you're an atheist. You've been that way your whole life, or what's your story?
Yeah, I think moved into it slowly. So my father was an atheist all my life.
So lucky.
Yeah, my mom was. We would go to church. We would go to the United Church in Canada. The United Church is about as close to atheist as you can get. I think it's pretty
Agreed.
Pretty laid back church. So I don't know. I can't honestly say I ever believed. It was really more. Two of my best friends went to church, so the three of us would hang out at church together.
Right.
My friend Dave, his father was the minister there, but I don't think I ever truly believed. But really, what was the turning point for me was in sort of middle school and high school when I really got involved in science. And I mean, you can't be. I think you really have to compartmentalize your brain to be able to understand science and think religion is real, right? Like the two things aren't really compatible with each other. So I think that was kind of the finishing point for me, but never really strongly religious. Never. I can't honestly say if I ever actually believed. So I would have to say it was sort of a slow transition over from in that way.
Okay.
That's fascinating. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. Maybe it's a Canadian thing because Mike made the same observation earlier today on the Kentucky Atheist channel, where you kind of go through school, and even in a Catholic school, you're still, even though in the one class you're being told God created everybody, but then you're in the very next class, biology or whatever, you're being told that life, evolves over centuries.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, some of those things, evolution is a great example. Like I get frustrated, when I see debates like creationists versus evolutionists, because I just don't think there's a debate. I mean, it's like gravity versus anti-gravity people. Like there just isn't a debate, right?
It's almost like the flat Earth debates that you see all over the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, why are we debating something that is fact? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
What about you, Jason?
Well,
raised Christian, or
I was not really raised religious at all. Like my grandparents on my dad's side were very religious. My dad's brothers have been pastors in the past. My dad, when he was 18, he kind of left home, joined the Navy, came home tattooed, smoking, drinking, and kind of left the church thing behind. And so my grandparents, they take myself when I was young. I was there a few times, but it was never, I never got it. It never clicked with me. So I never really believed that stuff.
So lucky. You're so lucky.
Yeah, I guess so.
Not even kidding.
Yeah.
So envious.
I remember my father saying when I was, 10 or 11, it was a discussion about something different, I think, but he said how, religion is the deadliest weapon ever invented by man.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, and that really struck me as, what that is so true.
It is so true.
More people have died as a result of that invention
yes.
than any other invention of war.
And is there anything worse than a mental prison? I mean, really, the mental prison is even more destructive than putting someone behind bars, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get started with the good time tableau, I'm going to put Dee on the spot. I want to test her. I'm going to give her a pop quiz real quick.
Oh boy, I'm awful.
What does
with tests.
B.A.H.A.con stand for?
Oh, Blue Water Atheist and Humanist Convention. Yeah, I got it, didn't I? Atheist, humanist.
One more.
Okay, wait. I got to look at the letters. Blue Water Atheist, Humanist, and Atheist. Oh,
Yep.
hang on. Blue Water
So close.
Atheist, Humanist. Oh, agnostics.
Hey,
But
job.
is it agnostics first and then atheists? Or
No, atheist and then agnostic.
atheist, humanist, and agnostics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the blue water, of course, because it's in Sarnia.
Yeah, Blue Water region. Yeah, and to
Yeah.
quote R and Ra, an atheist is someone who doesn't believe there's a God, and an agnostic is someone who doesn't believe they're an atheist.
Oh, I have not heard that.
Oh man.
Oh, I love that.
Actually, before we get into the started too, the speakers you guys had this year, what a roster! I mean,
It's
honestly,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. Between R and Ra popping a beer at 9:00 in the morning,
Sunday morning.
yeah,
I loved it.
yeah,
I can still hear it.
and I mean, Seth Andrews, that was some of the funniest stuff
Yeah,
I've seen in a while. But I mean, I don't want to take anything away from anybody because, like, oh, and
No.
Melanie, oh my God,
Melanie.
she was my favorite easily.
Yeah.
But Forrest Valkai went up there and put on a performance, didn't he?
he rocked it. Yep. And Hemant Mehta just opened the show. Like, he is so, so good. Dr. Josh Bowen, David Fitzgerald. Like, you want to talk about people with knowledge about the historicity of the Bible. They're just amazing people to talk to. And one thing we really like to focus on with the B.A.H.A. is we don't want to be a conference that just sits and bashes religion.
Right.
That's not why we're there. Sure, we have some speakers that we bring questions forward, but we also like to have the science piece, the Forrest Valkais and the Josh Bowens and David Fitzgerald that bring facts and information forward as opposed and R and Ra, right? I mean, him and with the work he does on the phylogeny project, like the sort of that science piece and that that knowledge piece, more than just let's just all get together and say how religion sucks. So
Yeah, and Drew's talk on community was so poignant because that's one thing that it's so needed. I mean, it's great we have this online, but bringing community in person, like you guys had. You said you had breakfast yesterday, you and Jason, Jeff, and it's like it's so needed. It's so needed.
It's still hard to get people to go out.
Yeah.
I
know.
Yeah, it's not a convention on hating on religion. It's about spreading the word of how to spot misinformation, how to be able to be skeptical properly, and things like that.
You mentioned Drew Beckius. I mean, what a rock star he was. I mean, he got up.
Yeah, Drew Beckius coming next in November, by the way.
Yeah, like awesome. no PowerPoints, no slideshow, and just had the whole audience locked in for the whole time he was there. Just such a great speaker.
Yeah,
and such a great person. I really enjoy just sitting and talking with the guy. Like all of the speakers, really.
Everybody.
And one thing we really,
I know you're going to talk about it.
It is, that's one thing we really like about B.A.H.A. is the speakers are there with everyone else. Like you may have Seth Andrews sitting with you for breakfast, or you may have Forrest Valkai sitting with you between speakers. Like they really do engage with everyone that's there. We have a boat cruise at the end of the conference. The speakers are all on. Lots of opportunity for people to talk to the speakers and the podcasters that they know and love, and it's just a great opportunity. And we really like it to have a family feel or a feel of community, and part of that is it's not so large. We like to keep the numbers like 200, 250, so people have an opportunity to have those engagements.
And it didn't even feel like that. I mean, I know the numbers were there, but it still felt intimate.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
On purpose.
Yeah, and even an entire day, you would think an entire day, like a Saturday from 9 a.m. until right up until supper time,
Yeah.
that it would be a long day to listen to a bunch of people talk. But you know what? It goes by quick, and it's not a hard thing to sit through. It really isn't.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
In fact, I'll never forget sitting next to Aaron Raw during a lot of the speakers. And you may not know this about Aaron, but he's a big animal lover. So constantly showing me his cell phone with another pet, like puppy video. Aaron Raw, the guy who looks like that. He's like, look at this puppy, cute puppy video.
Guy.
Look at this cute puppy video.
Yeah, he's the only person I've met that was once mistaken for Bigfoot. That's Aaron Raw.
I love people who.
That is a great story.
Yeah.
I love when people call him like a real life living Disney villain. Like, I think he should embrace that and just run with that. But in any case, looking forward to B.A.H.A.con 2025. But you gentlemen, you work hard all year to organize these events for us to come and meet and hang out. And sometimes we don't always get to hear your position on things. So I have a little thing that we do here where I create this tableau, and I load it up with hand-picked YouTube shorts. Just bear with me a sec while I fix my video, because I forgot I got extra people today. So I'm just going to... We're just going to get rid of this, and I'm just going to say, what? Wave, Mike. Bye. And we're going to put this down, and I'm going to add a dynamic camera grid. Sorry. I'm normally prepared for this stuff, but there we go. And then when I do that, everyone should be on the stage.
Hey!
There we go. I'm going to just... That looks better. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we got everyone on the stage. So here's my tableau. You'll notice it's got 3 thumbnails there. These are just AI-generated images that I've created to put on said tableau to represent the YouTube short that I've plugged in behind it. So the idea is we'll start from the top, work our way down. We'll play one video after the other, and we'll discuss what it is we just watched and heard, and understand that this is information that is actively on the internet. This is on YouTube. This is stuff anybody can find, right? So our first video is it's a good one. So, and it's basic, perfect little warm up for us. So if you guys are ready, here we go.
So you believe the Bible is real?
Yes, I believe the Bible is true and real. Yeah.
Why is that?
There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted the truth of the Bible. And then, of course, the wisdom. There is not a truth of the Bible that if you apply to your life does not improve dramatically. And then finally, we have the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth. And the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live. If Genesis 1:1 and the resurrection is true, anything in the Bible is possible. You're looking at the greatest miracle. The greatest miracle is creation. And then the fact that Jesus rose from the dead. I say, how do you know that Jesus rose from the dead? Well, show me another historical piece of a story where so many people willingly died a brutal death for a lie. Every single person around him had everything to lose, and yet they went to the absolute death, from Paul to Peter to the half-brother of James, saying that Jesus is Lord, Jesus rose from the dead.
Yeah, so there's a lot to there, but it's the same thing.
Charles Manson.
Yeah, we've heard the same stuff 100 times before. So, Jeff, what stuck with you the most through that?
I just find it interesting how, like, there are so many facts that contradict all of those statements, but they just get ignored. So to talk to someone like that, and we've all talked to those people, and to say, well, where is the evidence of a resurrection? In fact, where is the evidence that there was actually a Jesus of Nazareth? There's no.
Well, if I would just be devil's advocate and write the very first thing he said in the clip, Well, you
in the
haven't
book.
found anything that proves that
The
he
book.
didn't exist.
It's in the book.
And I've
Circular reasoning.
I've never found anything that proves that leprechauns don't exist. Right? I've never found anything to prove that Pepper's teapot, right, isn't circling the sun. Right? So, like, to me, we need evidence to show that something does, not, before I'm going to believe something, I need to see that evidence does. And his argument about, people don't die without good reason. Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that die without good reason.
Uh-huh.
Like I've spent 40 years responding to people that have died for no good reason. So, yeah.
What about you, Jeff or Jason?
Yeah, same. They don't look at the facts at all. None of them. They don't even want to hear it.
But you haven't found proof that it didn't happen.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay. D, are you all right?
I'm. All my flabbers are gasted. I grew up hearing all of this. I grew up hearing all of this. It's just. First of all, it's circular reasoning. Everything goes back to the Bible. They won't argue outside the Bible, so there's absolutely no point. Archaeological. He said it was archaeological. The Bible was discovered by No,
he said that there has been nothing archaeological ever found to disprove.
Well,
in other words, he didn't find a tomb with a note inside of it that said, "Just kidding, I didn't resurrect." Like,
no.
So like Moses and all his people wandering the desert for 40 years.
Yeah.
In a distance that today you would walk in 6 days.
Yeah. I've heard that too.
Without any have GPS, Jeff.
No, it's true. But without any archaeological evidence, like a million people that left no trace behind. Like,
what did they eat?
Okay. Also, even if a man named Jesus did exist, who's to say he wasn't just a crazy person? I mean, he could have just been a crazy person and and just died, and then just stories just grew and grew and grew, and it just went from there. I mean, and people do die for no good reason. I mean, there are kamikaze pilots. There are people who die for whatever they believe in every single day, and they fully believe whatever their cause is. So I'm sorry, no.
And there have been people accused of being witches by the church.
Yes.
That have been executed.
Yeah. Because
they wouldn't say that it was in fact true that they were witches. They stood by their conviction.
That's right.
There were
great examples.
Right? There were people murdered by the Catholic Church because they read the Bible in English.
Yeah.
Right? During the Inquisitions.
Yeah.
So lots of people have died
for their beliefs.
Yeah. Or in the case of the Inquisition, for their lack of belief. Right?
Yeah.
My very special co-host from last week's episode, I just want to make mention, and she was fantastic. AJ, she has arrived and she apologizes for being late, but that's okay. We'll start over, right? We'll just
so here we go.
Just put everybody backstage.
I'm not here. Hide me.
Spin Dr. Mike. What was your take on that? I mean, those are some pretty softballs, honestly, but
I beg your pardon.
It's in the book. It's in the book. It's got to be true. It's in the book. We got the book. It's in the book. I don't know. It's all about the book. Yeah, it's in the book.
Art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah. There you go. It's in the
That's what we call that circular reasoning. Just to expand Mike's education a little bit more, it's the idea that if it's in the book, it must be true, and if it's true, it must be in the book. Continues and continues.
Yet when you say there's a book called the Quran, and it has all sorts of stuff in it, or there's a Book of Mormon, and it has all sorts of stuff in it, but they're like, well, no, that's just not true.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is your book true, but that book's not?
Yeah.
Well, because it is.
Because it says it in the book.
Yeah, because it says it in the book.
Yeah.
I think
Read the
my
book.
favorite idea these days, it's new to me anyways, and it's kind of just like a little bit mind-blowing, like a little firecracker went off when I first heard this, was Jesus died for our sins, right? But then he resurrected a few days later. So did he die for our sins, or did he just have a bad weekend?
Yeah.
A bender. He went on a bender.
Really?
Yeah.
Hangover.
Yeah. So it really makes me think now. It's like, wait a minute, you're right. It's like he didn't die at all. He either faked it or magicked it or whatever you want to call it. But he came back a few days later and kind of went, gotcha.
Dad gave him a timeout.
Just kidding.
Unless you think he is God, but
and the book's missing like the teen years, aren't we? Like we got him as the baby, and we got him as he's got a job and he's hanging out with his 12 buddies at the dinner table. But hey, we don't know what went on in the teen years.
Yeah, that's where the Quran comes in, I think, a little bit too.
Okay.
They believe, I think there's a belief there where he traveled and became a prophet of Islam. So Christianity sees Jesus as their Michael Jordan, where like Islam is just like, no, he's the Scottie Pippen. He was just part of the crew. He wasn't. If no one here knows what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Go Google Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
I'm more impressed that you know sports than anything. I
don't know sports, but
I was going to say Gretzky and Dave Semenko. I grew up in Edmonton.
Oh, look at this.
So by the way, that brings us right perfectly to our next short segue. Our entire panel today is Canadian. So we're all from Canada. Dee, you're still in San Francisco, though, I believe.
I am.
Right?
Right now I'm in San Francisco.
So this next short I decided to choose because most of us, if not all of us, went to Catholic schools. Did we all go to Catholic schools? Oh, you didn't, Dee?
No.
Okay.
No, they were not real Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not.
All right. Well, in any case, this next short comes from Canada.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Have you seen the video? A group of parents clapping, cheering when a cat.
Oh no! Don't.
Uh-oh.
Just last time when Dee was on too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's my curse.
Wow.
And my camera froze like with a really funny looking face. So there you go. Just enjoy that look. Just stare at that. Everyone, get your meme machines open. Get ready to clip that. I knew this was going to be a thing today. All right, stand by, everybody. We're going to restart.
Please stand by.
I really want that one to work. I don't know. I'm having my internet seems to be running a little slow today. I got a brand new computer and everything not too long ago.
Oh my gosh.
I know. These things are supposed to work.
Well,
I knew this was going to be a problem during the pre-show when my camera was starting to slow down a little bit.
When I was with the Kentucky Atheist, his camera was choppy too. Maybe it's me.
I would like to say, being as we're all Canadian on this show, and for those that are watching that aren't Canadian, Jordan Peterson is also Canadian, and we apologize.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
We don't claim him.
We're sorry. We are very sorry for that.
We'll expand your education later, Mike, on who Jordan Peterson is, and but he was working for the University of Toronto, and I believe he was ousted because he finally was just like, I'm not going to do the pronoun thing. It's like, I'm just not. He just refused, and now he's got a lot of bad ideas, and he's a big time internet guy. But anyways, I think I got my short working. So let's try this again.
Have you seen the video? A group of parents clapping, cheering when a Catholic school board in Peel, Dufferin Peel, just outside.
I worked while I wasn't sharing it. Good grief.
Charlie Brown.
Yep. Okay.
Can you play it and we can just listen?
No, I don't think so.
Get rid of me?
Oh no, there's no way.
So.
there's no way that it could be anyone here's actual fault. It's just the YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
Yeah,
Totally
I'm almost
tubular.
positive it's just a, like, is my computer trying to do something else in the background here? Let's turn some stuff off and see what happens. Okay. You know what? I'm going to turn my camera off. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh.
And then
See what happens.
I'll try this one more time. And if it doesn't work, I'll
Okay.
explain to you guys what it's all about, because
Okay.
it's Canadian, and I think it's
Yeah, we
interesting.
saw Toronto.
You see the video? A group of parents clapping, cheering when a Catholic school board in Peel, Dufferin Peel, just outside of.
Okay.
Got a
So
little
Catholic school
farther.
board, Dufferin Peel in Toronto.
Toronto,
They were
voted
having
not to fly the pride flag. They felt like it was a relief that they could say, no, our school's going to be Catholic. Of course, that now has people saying, well, we've got to defund Catholic schools in Ontario. Why? I thought we believed in diversity. Instead, what we've got are people who claim they believe in diversity, and what they really believe in is enforced uniformity. Well, the Catholic Church has been against homosexuality. That is no secret, but they also do teach respect, love, understanding, compassion for all, including LGBTQ+. So there shouldn't be an issue here, but there's going to become one by people who claim they want diversity by making sure that we all believe the same thing. That's the opposite.
You think?
Yeah, so that's
What
the
the
Toronto
fuck, dude?
Sun. Yeah. I guess the Catholic school
Wow.
was very, very pleased with themselves and voting to not fly a pride flag on their
Okay.
school, which, I mean, if anyone who's never been to Canada, or you guys aren't aware in Canada, a lot of our government buildings
It's
and
everywhere.
things are very supportive and flying those pride flags. So let's start with Jason this time. Jason, what do you think about Catholic schools flying pride flags?
Well, I think they should. I also think that there should not be a Catholic school board in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if they want a school board, fine, but keep your hands out of the government coffers and like fund it
Exactly.
yourself.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
government
If
money.
they want to be separate, be separate.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I am. I was recently opening up talks with Mike here on, we want to be part of this community and have our fights and things and activism, if you will. And I think that's a pretty good fight, a really good topic here in Ontario, especially with the whole government funded Catholic schools.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be government funded, then fly that flag, right?
That's right.
What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, so I got a few thoughts on it. I had the honor of attending in the municipality that I work in, which is the municipality that Jason lives in, where at the municipal office we had a raising of the pride flag for Pride Week last year, and how honored I was to be able to attend that and to hear from people that were there what that flag represents to them, and that knowing the municipality accepts that and honors that, how much that meant to them. I agree. I think I would argue that what they're talking about isn't diversity. The saying we don't want to fly the pride flag and we don't quote unquote believe in homosexuality.
That doesn't even make sense.
That's not diversity. That's bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
Diversity is accepting everyone for what they are, whether you agree or not. If I don't agree with gay marriage, then I won't marry someone that is the same gender as me. It doesn't give me the right to enforce that on other people that don't necessarily believe what I believe. I work in a profession where most days I wear a uniform, and on my uniform during the month, the Pride Month, I wear pride flags on my shoulders as part of my uniform, and my staff do as well. Those that wish to.
Good.
We don't force anyone to wear them, but most of my staff do, because it shows people that
You're safe.
they're safe and everyone is welcome and everyone is equal. When we had a counselor actually in the municipality I work for that had suggested, well, if we quote unquote have to fly the pride flag, then we should have to fly any flag. So the Nazi flag we should have to fly. I'm like, whoa. That's an absolutely stupid statement to suggest that those things are even related. Is insane. It's literally insane.
That's pure hatred.
It is 100%.
I see the flying of these flags, especially on a school, as not just being that like it's a supportive thing. It lets the kids know that it's okay to feel the way they're feeling.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's like when governments. I just saw in Saskatchewan, one of the people running for premier has suggested if the party gets in, one of the first things they're going to do is enforce bathroom rules in schools, so that you will be required to use the bathroom of the sex that you were assigned at birth. Well, here's a thought. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is so ridiculous when we're dealing with people that we need to tuck in and let them know they matter and that they are more than welcome and encouraged to be who they are. I read an article about transgender healthcare that we're seeing a huge fight about in the States, and I think in Canada too, in some places. Transgender healthcare has been shown in adolescents to reduce the risk of suicide by up to 80%. If you could tell me that there's treatment you could have given my children that would have reduced their risk of suicide by 80%, fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What do you think, Mike? You were rubbing your head there.
Well, I think it's more about the Nazi comment with the flag there, but Justin and I, we come from the entertainment field. And we've spent many of an event actually in the Peel Catholic School Board doing events, and I remember when the story happened, it was quite upsetting. Like when we dealt with the school boards, I felt they're a little bit more open, but still we were as the entertainers censored to make sure that we were playing more age appropriate music, whether it was instead of gender appropriate music. But it just bothers me that people think this way. Like it's just
wow, yeah,
so horrific. It's like in this day and age of accepting, like everything's supposed to be acceptance. What's accepting about not supporting like a part of your community?
Yeah, that poor kid who goes to that Catholic school who isn't sure about who they are and maybe having little feelings now is going to be too afraid to bring it up and have the discussion with somebody there because they applauded not flying this flag as if it was something that was bad.
Yeah, it saddens my heart. Saddens my heart.
Yeah.
Justin, you've taken like my last, almost all my points, everything.
Well, you know what?
You have.
It helps when you go around and you watch amazing podcasts on YouTube all day long, like the Stacey's Mom podcast, and then you get educated.
And I would suggest that the Catholic Church maybe needs to fix some things in their own house before they start worrying about shit like that.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'll tell you guys. Maybe I've said this before. I'm not really sure, but my high school diploma has the name of a sex predator on it. Because the school that I graduated from was named after a person who was later found out to be a predator. And they went and changed, so technically my high school doesn't exist anymore. The name has been changed in the last couple of years because of who this person ended up being.
Wow.
And it's just hopefully I'll never have to be on the job hunt where someone says, "So can I see your high school diploma?" And I'll be like, "No, I really don't." I mean, I'm sure if I went to the high school, they'd probably print me off one on the new
Yeah.
whatever the new
Yeah.
guy whose name they put on the sign outside the school. But
Yeah. Until he's charged.
yeah, what's interesting was when what's interesting is when I went to
Have
that
another
school,
drink, Jeff.
it was a brand new school. I was part of the first student body, and we had a vote on what we wanted to name the school. And
Yeah.
it came to the name of this guy that ended up being ultimately a sex predator, or Bayside High, because Saved by the Bell was all popular at the time.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty sure
we
that
had
probably would have got vetoed anyways, but it was really funny to think.
I was born and raised in Stratford, which has a Shakespearean festival theater. So all of the schools in my town were named after Shakespearean characters. So except for the
Wow.
Catholic schools. So I went to like Juliet School, but the Catholic school that's up the street, public school, was called Immaculate Conception.
Yeah, I went to
explain
an
that.
Immaculate
There's one in
Conception.
every town.
There's
Is
one in
there?
every town.
Really?
Yeah.
Explain that to the grade
Yeah.
ones. What does that mean?
Oh, the elementary school that I went to was called Immaculate Conception. And here's the thing. It shared a building with a public English school. I went to a Catholic French school. You could walk down a hallway and be in a public English school. It was the strangest
Wow.
thing. We had to organize separate recesses, and all kinds of weird things went on.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't for me. It wasn't until grade 2 when a girl in my class said, "Hey, look under the table. I want to show you something," that I understood there was actually a difference. So if you had to explain to me what Immaculate Conception was in grade 1, I would have been confused.
And right there, folks,
She
you
would have
just got a
explained it.
taste for what it's like when Jeff MCs a BajaCon.
And it's had a Moscow Mule. I love it. I
All right,
love
let's
it.
move on
This
to
is
our
why I like hanging
final
out with
short.
boys.
Let's move on to our final short, guys, and have
All
a
right.
look at what's going on here.
I'm an atheist. I don't believe in about 2,700 gods. Christians don't believe in 2,699.
Yes.
So they're nearly as atheistic as me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some weird guy a few thousand years ago said so. It's ludicrous. I mean,
It really
it's
is
laughable.
My challenge for atheists is this. When you're dealing with the topic of God's existence, Jesus' resurrection, the evidence for the Bible, that sort of thing, no sarcasm, no self-righteous posturing allowed. I think if you watch a debate between a Christian and an atheist, you will see that the vast majority of the stuff that comes off the atheist side is sarcasm and self-righteous posturing. And if you just take those two things away, that kind of mockery and scoffing, it has a very different effect on you. And you can maybe see clearly enough to at least weigh the evidence thoughtfully.
Everyone's favorite
Where's the
internet
evidence?
apologetic, Mike Winger. Jeff, what did you think about what Mike said there?
Two words. Prove it.
Thank you. If you
But
can prove it, I'll
aren't you
believe
just
it.
being sarcastic and all the stuff he said?
I don't think so. I think it's a good question. If you're making a claim, you're claiming that some guy lived 2,000 years ago. You're claiming that 80 years after he died, somebody wrote down exactly what he said, including things he said when he was by himself, and that is 100% accurate. You claim that he died, was dead for 3 days, and all of a sudden wasn't dead anymore. Prove it. Like, where's the evidence? If you're going to make the claim, prove that happened. And the Bible isn't it. There was a lot of scholars. 100%. There was a lot of scholars at the time. Like, people sometimes think that the only book that was written during that time was the Bible, and we know that that's not true. There was a lot of people writing about things that happened, during that time. You would think if somebody was walking on water, if someone was turning water into wine, a skill which, by the way, I would love to have.
Me too.
That'd be a superpower. Like, forget
Sign
the
me
whole
up.
flying and stuff. Water into wine. Give me that one.
Yep.
Someone died and resurrected. You would think that someone else would have documented that outside of the Bible. Hasn't ever happened. Didn't happen. It just isn't. It just doesn't make logical sense. There's no evidence for it. if there is evidence that we're not aware of, bring the evidence. I think we would all agree if you provided us evidence sufficient to prove that your God exists, whichever one of the 2,700 it is, we would be the crazy ones not to say, yep, you're right, if you have the evidence to prove it. 100%. But you've never had the evidence to prove it.
If we use the argument from the first video, I guess they should also have to prove that the other 2,699 don't exist. Right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, it's same. It's yeah. It's hard to keep a straight face when you're talking to these people to begin with.
Right. Yes, it's hard not to laugh and be
Mike,
sarcastic.
Earlier today, Mike, for the first time ever, heard Ray Comfort's Banana.
Oh, geez.
Oh, you should show him. Stacey and I did a reaction video because I had never seen it before.
Oh, really?
We did a reaction show to it.
It sounds to me like maybe we need to have a Mike and D just explore the internet. Just let them. They can YouTube whatever they want as long as they include the words like Christian or something, and then just see what they find on their own.
Yeah, don't just use the word banana. Just don't.
No, don't just
just use that one. Yeah.
If you're gonna use the word banana, then go incognito mode.
One thing I want to say about what that guy said was, if he honestly and truly thinks that there aren't those of us who are atheists now that don't honestly wish there was an afterlife, he's crazy. Because if there's one thing that I do wish is that I do wish I was going to see my grandparents again, because they are truly missed and they were truly loved, and I lost them way too soon. And that's what breaks my heart. And when I think about that, I break down because I do miss them very much. I lost my grandmother at 18 and she was my mother figure. And that's the thing that breaks me up. So if he honestly is going to be an asshole and say that we're always sarcastic about it, fuck him, honestly.
Yeah.
Because if he could prove it to me, truly prove it, not just with platitudes and it's in the Bible, he's an idiot. Because
I mean, if our current life and our current reality is just the waiting room where we wipe our feet before the real life begins.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
And with all the horrible things that go on here, if there's an actual God that lets these horrible things happen to people and animals and all the awful things, well, fuck him too.
Yeah. And you know what? If Mike Winger got sick, he's going to do everything he can to avoid death.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So true.
Yeah.
I think it would be great if they all die and there is an afterlife, and it turns out Zeus is sitting there going, like, what are you guys thinking? Right? Can you imagine a quote unquote heaven where the whole thing is for eternity, like not 100 years, not 1,000 years, not 1,000,000 years, eternity. Your whole goal is to bow
that sounds
down
like hell to me, by the way. Spend eternity doing anything.
To bow down at someone's feet and worship them, like
that's what always seems so boring to me.
For like ever.
For like ever.
Forever.
You just channeled the 15-year-old girl there. For like
I want no
ever.
part of that.
To quote one of the great philosophers of the 21st century, Mr. Billy Joel.
Okay.
They say there's a heaven for those who will wait. And some say it's better, but I say it ain't. I'd rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints, because the sinners are much more fun.
Yes. Yes.
There's a great show on Netflix. The title of the show escapes me at the moment, but it's all about the afterlife, where the person dies and they go to their afterlife and they're at a desk with Ted Danson. I forget that. I wish I could remember.
The Good Life.
The Good
The
Life.
Good Life.
Yeah.
I love how they're like,
Yeah.
oh, all the religions are wrong. They're all wrong. There's only one guy who ever got it right, and it's Jim. On that one Saturday, he was high out of his tree. He's the only guy who ever figured it out. It's just so funny.
So a friend of mine was dead for 7 minutes, and then thanks to the paramedics, he's no longer dead. But he says with all certainty, like, there's nothing else. Like, I was dead for 7 minutes. There was nothing else. So
Thank you.
I got to believe him. He was there.
An NDE
was right there.
experience that doesn't have any kind of supernatural.
Most don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most don't.
And anything else can be a dream. We go to sleep every night and dream.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
you know. So
all right, well, you know what? This is perfect. This is a great spot to wind it down and close it out. I want to thank everyone in our audience who came to check out Jeff and Jason. The just a fraction. They're not the entirety of the B.A.H.A.con crew, but they're a great representation and slice of that group. And we're grateful for we're laughing at Mike. We're grateful for the event. I almost canceled at the last minute and didn't go. I'm so glad I didn't.
Glad you didn't.
Good thing you went.
Yeah, I was actually considering scrubbing the whole YouTube thing altogether. I was going to cancel the B.A.H.A.con thing and just like disappear.
It was a really bad hour.
Yeah, it was and I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'll just go.
Yeah.
And then I sat at a table with that guy from Nunavut, and he's a computer guy and I'm a computer guy, so that was a boring dinner for anyone else if they had sat at that table. And then I got a text message from the lovely Pragmatic Crystal, who I don't think is in our chat at the moment anymore. But she's like, you got to go say hi to Dee and Stacy. And I was just like, which one are they? And Pragmatic Crystal's like, just look for the really tall woman with red hair. And then Dee.
I'm 7'3".
And Stacy's usually like somewhere, 3 feet closer to the floor behind her somewhere. So yeah, and then it was and basically with Pragmatic Crystal saying like, go and say hi and go and meet them. It just snowballed from there, and I started running around saying hi to everybody. I went over to Jeff.
Crystal.
I met Jeff. I met his girlfriend Suzanne and her gold medals. I actually got to see her Dragon Bolt gold medals.
Wow.
That was awesome. And yep. So now I'm looking forward to next year.
Yay!
Me too.
Yes.
Jason says that now.
Well,
We'll have you guys back on like 2 weeks before B.A.H.A.con launches and see if Jason is still like, I can't wait.
I'm still excited. I can't wait.
You can have us on anytime you want.
Family all back together again.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is.
Well, organizing such an event can't be easy. So thank you so much for all the work that you do over there.
Yes, thank you. It's so appreciated.
And the hotel was awesome. And the food we had on that first night there, that dinner, that was fantastic. And the cruise at the end. Yeah. I skipped the cruise. I had to drive home, and I decided I wanted to come home. And, I had given up my entire weekend to hang over at B.A.H.A.con and left the wife at home. So I was like, I want to go home and give her half the Sunday at least.
Oh, that was
so I skipped the boat cruise, but next year I probably won't. And I'll bring Mike along with me, so it'll be good.
There you go.
Hopefully, Dee, you'll be there as well.
Oh yeah, Stacy and I'll be back.
Yeah. We're just working on the lineup for 2025. You won't be
anybody interesting yet?
We don't want to let things out too soon, but
fair enough.
I can say that Seth Andrews is going to be returning, which is awesome.
Sweet.
And there might be someone with the word Gibbon in her handle. So,
I was gonna recommend her, and you're right. We better not let that one out too soon. But there we go. Skeptic Spin just scooped a piece of the lineup for Bob.
You did. A piece of the lineup. So
cash.
Now it's Skeptic Scoop.
Yes.
Skeptic Scoop. Fantastic. Dee, Stacy's Mom podcast. What are you guys doing over there? What do you got going on?
I know Stacy is in charge of the booking, and I know we're on tomorrow night, 5:00. She's away right now, but she's going to be live on location from the Sunshine Coast.
All right.
She's visiting my brother and my sister-in-law right now. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, then just if anyone who's watching this right now is not familiar with the Stacy's Mom podcast or Dee, just go onto the YouTubes and Stacy's Mom podcast and subscribe.
So Stacy with an IE. Even when it's right there in black and white, people still use a Y. It drives me bonkers.
Yeah. If you see the music video for Stacy's Mom, you're on the wrong track.
Yeah.
Wrong way.
Everybody sings it to her everywhere she goes.
Yeah. And then for anyone who saw Mike on Atheist or Kentucky Atheist earlier today,
I love him.
Cool. If you didn't, go over to Kentucky Atheist and check out Mike over there. Getting his education on, who learned today Luke, Ray Comfort, Kent Hovind, and Ken Hamar for the first time.
So sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a
You
lot to
can't
take in.
unsee
There was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
There was a lot to take in.
Next will be
can't
Matt.
unsee it.
Next will be Matt Powell, maybe some Mike Winger, and yeah, I don't know.
My head might implode.
Go
I mean,
have
you-
some Kentucky whiskey.
Exactly. You need to back them up with some Basil Hayden Kentucky bourbon, man. 'cause
And as far as Skeptic Spin goes, next week, March 27th, at a special time. Keep an eye out for the special time. So not my usual 7 Eastern. We're gonna go a little later because my guest is coming to us all the way from 12 hours in the future. I've got Mark Reed coming on, the Aussie himself from Mark Reed Atheism. So that'll be fun. He's been on the program before in the past, way back machine, when we first started doing this format, this YouTube short debunk. So he'll be over here to hang out with us. And then the very following week after that, we've got Drew.
Yay, Drew!
So that's going to be awesome. Drew, former pastor, now atheist, and great speaker. Again, another person I met at B.A.H.A.con. So Jeff, thank you so much. My entire guest lineup is basically because of you at this point.
Yep, there you go.
I think the only person, I mean, yeah, I've had Seth Andrews before B.A.H.A.con and Aaron Ra before B.A.H.A.con, but like Friendly Atheist, Hemet, I never would have got him on here if not. I mean, I ate breakfast with the man every morning over there, so it was awesome. In any case,
everybody come to B.A.H.A.con.
Everyone come to
Yes.
B.A.H.A.con.
Sign up as soon as they open.
But
soon as
wait
they
until
open
let me get my
registration.
ticket first because I don't want to be on a waiting list. Like so.
April
And then
usually April 1 has been our usually April 1 the tickets will hit, so keep an eye
All
out.
right. So if you got a choice between WrestleMania and B.A.H.A.con and you chose WrestleMania, it was the wrong choice.
Yeah.
The badge.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Awkwardly raise your right hands and wave goodbye as I hit the end stream button, and we'll see you all guys next week.
Mwah.